High in the Berkshire Hills of Massachusetts, there once stood a mansion so vast it rivaled European palaces. It stretched more than 400 feet across. It contained nearly 100 rooms, and for decades it symbolized unimaginable American wealth. But today, the mansion is gone. What remains are ruins, scattered foundations, and unanswered questions surrounding one of the deadliest mansion fires in American history. This is the dark story of Shadow Brook, once called America's second-largest private residence. To understand Shadow Brook, you must understand the era that created it. The late 19th century was America's Gilded Age, a time of explosive industrial growth, extreme wealth, and public displays of power through architecture. The Berkshires became a seasonal refuge for America's elite. Here, summer cottages were anything but modest. They were massive estates designed to showcase fortune, influence, and permanence. Shadow Brook would become one of the most extreme examples. In 1893, financier Anson Phelps Stokes commissioned the construction of Shadow Brook. The mansion was built on a high ridge overlooking Stockbridge Bowl, deliberately positioned for dominance over the surrounding landscape. Architect H. Neil Wilson designed the house in the Tudor Revival style, marked by steep roofs, heavy stone construction, timber detailing, and fortress-like proportions. The mansion stretched approximately 410 feet across its front. Inside were nearly 100 rooms, including grand halls, libraries, service wings, and extensive servant quarters. The estate grounds were initially planned by Frederick Law Olmsted, the designer of Central Park, before being completed by landscape architect Ernest Bowditch. Shadow Brook was not simply a home, it was a statement. By the early 20th century, Shadow Brook was widely described as one of the largest private residences in the United States. Only the Biltmore estate in North Carolina surpassed it in size. Inside, the mansion featured enormous fireplaces, richly paneled rooms, and formal spaces designed for entertaining on a grand scale. Maintaining the estate required a full staff: cooks, gardeners, caretakers, and domestic workers working behind the scenes. But its immense size came with a cost. The mansion was expensive to maintain, difficult to heat, and increasingly impractical, even for the wealthiest Americans. After Anson Phelps Stokes, Shadow Brook changed hands. In the early 1900s, it was purchased by Spencer P. Shotter, a wealthy industrialist from Georgia. Financial troubles soon followed, and Shotter was forced to sell the estate. In 1916, Shadow Brook was acquired by steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in American history. Carnegie spent the final years of his life at Shadow Brook. In 1919, he died inside the mansion. His death marked the end of Shadow Brook's era as a private luxury residence. In 1922, Shadow Brook was sold to the Society of Jesus, commonly known as the Jesuits. The mansion was converted into a religious novitiate, housing young men training for the priesthood. Lavish bedrooms became dormitories. Ballrooms became chapels. Luxury gave way to discipline and austerity. For more than 3 decades, the Jesuits lived within the aging structure, a building never designed for modern institutional use. Behind its stone walls, Shadow Brook slowly deteriorated. On the night of March 9, 1956, disaster struck.
A fire broke out inside Shadow Brook. Accounts suggest the blaze originated near the boiler area. Flames spread rapidly through the massive structure. Despite its stone exterior, the interior of the mansion, filled with wood, aging systems, and hidden passageways, burned intensely. Firefighters struggled to contain the inferno. By morning, Shadow Brook was destroyed. 4 people died in the fire. 2 others later died from injuries they sustained. A mansion that had stood for more than 60 years was gone in a single night. After the fire, the Jesuits made a decision. Shadow Brook would not be rebuilt. Instead, a new, simpler building was constructed nearby and completed in 1958. The era of grand Gilded Age mansions in the Berkshires was coming to an end. By 1970, the Jesuits had left the property entirely. Today, the land that once held Shadow Brook is part of the Shadow Brook Farm Historic District. The surrounding property is now home to the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health. Visitors walk the grounds, unaware that one of America's greatest mansions once stood there. Only foundations remain, and history remembers what fire erased. Shadow Brook was a monument to ambition, a symbol of wealth, a place of faith, and finally, a site of tragedy. Its story reflects the rise and fall of America's Gilded Age, a reminder that even the grandest structures are temporary, but their stories endure.